Oh, what a chaotic day. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Are we ready for chaos? All of the chaos. I need to get those stencils put back in their bags. Oh, that came with palette. I forgot about that. It's not very deep though. So that's going to make things interesting. Okay, now I've got something in my eye. Hello, everybody. I had planned on starting like an hour ago. But life had other plans today. What can you do? Alright. At least we're starting on time. So I hope everybody is doing okay. I don't have any fluid medium, so we're gonna have to use water. I just don't have any. Sorry, I'm trying to clean something real quick. It looks a little gross. Okay. Clean up the top of my drink. Okay, so we're picking back up with our Christmas gift making time of the year. Alright, so this was the sketch that I had kind of started trying to finish up last week, Monday, whatever day, I guess Monday. Over the course of the week, I finished up some little touches on it, and then I took my white charcoal pencil and colored over the back of our tracing paper, and then flipped it back over and retraced all the lines to transfer it. So that's what we have here. I will have the video going up on the transfer later, probably tomorrow, or very, very, very late tonight in the early hours. We'll see. But this is where we're at. It is just charcoal, so it will smudge off and wear off, so we have to be careful. I wasn't sure what color I was going to do this in. Background's going to stay black. I might have to add another layer of black once we're done just to clean everything up. But we'll deal with that when we get there. So in the upper corner, for color reference, I'm using a more realistic chicken that I painted for the same person previously. So this is going to be sort of a mixture of line art meets dot art, kind of. We'll see how things go. Okay, that quick, I lost my toolkit. So I'm gonna use these guys to kind of help, because there's a super, super fine point on one of these that I think will be kind of helpful. So I might have to turn this guy so my hand's not smudging everything. So I do apologize. There will be times. Then we have to do that. So I'm just using regular craft paint. You know, whatever brand floats your boat. That's more than fine. I don't have a whole lot of super fine tipped brushes for like fine little details. So that's why we're gonna use our dotty tools here to try to help us. I might, in fact, you know, I'm pretty sure I am going to need to put some white down first. 3, 4, 5. Most people, I guess, would use fluid medium. I don't have any. So we're just going to use a few drops of water. I'm up to about 5 drops so far. See how this goes. It's a little runny. Like fluid medium, you would probably only need like 2 drops max. 6, 7, 8. Like, I don't want this to be a wash, but I do need it a little bit thinned down. So it will flow off of our tools here. Alright, so we're gonna go with that. I'm just using the bottom of a water bottle that I cut off for my paint cup. This way I don't accidentally drink out of it, because it's not something that I would be drinking from. And the little ridges in there that are part of the bottle help scrape the paint off a lot easier. Alright, so we're going to get our white paint going here. My dusty white paint bottle. We haven't been giving the acrylics that much love lately. I do apologize for that, acrylics. Ah, wrong color. No, clean water, clean water. I'm not going to put that much water into white, because I really don't want it that thin on the white. So I've been thinking about it, and since I'm on a black background, I'm not really going to be able to outline this in black. So we're gonna have to, oh gosh, I'm like, why isn't the paint going over in that corner? My paintbrush is going into it. The shadow from the little lip there was making it look like the paint wasn't getting over there. That was fucking trippy. Alright, so let's go ahead and we're gonna rinse that. So, since I can't really use black to do our outlining, I'm probably gonna have to outline it in white. And there's nothing wrong with that. It just won't be super traditional. I'm gonna start with the tool tip and see how we go from there. I might have to bust out a brush but we'll see. I'm just kind of swirling this around, but I figured this would help me not get too many brush strokes in there as well. And so far that's working pretty good. If you don't have the dotty tools for this stage, you could probably use a toothpick. There's like all kinds of videos around that you can find on YouTube and stuff about making homemade dotty tools. It is scraping some of the paint off though, so I have to make sure I've got enough loaded on there. So hope everybody's having a good Sunday. Now, it's okay if this is a little bit not quite right in this part, because I'm just kind of putting that down so my red will show up. Because my red in this paint is a bit transparent. For whatever reason, it just is. Probably the brand. I mean, it is just the cheaper craft paint. But this should eliminate the need to do like a bazillion coats of it to get it the shade that I'm looking for, hopefully. I don't have a heat tool to speed up drying. All I have is a regular desk fan. You don't have to speed up the drying. That is going to be pretty much preference. If you're going to be putting your hand on your stuff, you might want to lay something over it. Just so you don't smudge your transfer lines, or so you don't accidentally remove your transfer lines, because that could be problematic. Like just a little bit. Alright, I'm not sure how well you guys can see. I'm not super zoomed in. If I zoom in a bit more, we're gonna have to fuss with the camera a little bit. Husband, does that need to be zoomed in a bit more?
I don't think so.
Okay, because I can't tell, because my preview is so small. I'm not sure if we're zoomed in enough. Now, would this part be a little bit faster with a brush, probably? But I just wanted to try it this way, just to see how this would work. And if you love like that AMSR, AMSR.
ASMR?
Am I flipping the letters?
I think you are.
Okay. Dyslexic brain. Especially when it comes to, what is it, acronyms and shit. Gets me every time. If you're into those, like, cool noise things that do shit for you, this...
Jesus, that descriptor, dear.
Well, you know what? Fuck off. I hate those videos. They make my ears itch, and I don't like it. They bother me something terrible. But, this tool is giving, like, palette knife vibes. At times on here. Probably not picking up because I don't have a, what do they use for that? Like the shotgun mics? Where it's like right up in there. Those precision pinpointy mics. And my mic's across the desk, so... And technically when you're doing the dotty things, you're not really supposed to be getting all that up in the canvas, but we're not doing the dotty things with it at the moment. We had the fun surprise today of waking up to a broken toilet.
The shitter broke.
Fortunately, it was an easy fix, all things considered. Didn't help the fact that we had to spend money on something we didn't have the money for, but it could have been a lot worse. So that was fun. That's kind of why I was late, 'cause it kind of tied up everything else getting sorted. Hopefully this paper doesn't smudge it worse than my hand was starting to. I noticed my hand was starting to pick it up. And that's not exactly what I wanted. So I had forgotten what size the canvas was, and I think I had mentioned that on Monday. I was like, oh shit, our canvas was supposed to be 8 by 10, that I had planned on doing this, and I completely forgot about that when I was working on the design. And you know, I'm going to town adding all these like pointy feather guys on the Rooster butt, and I'm like, yeah, I'm digging this, I'm happy with this. And then I was like, oh fuck. So I did go and find the canvas, and husband and I were looking at it, and he goes, it just fit. So that's why the beak is right on the edge, and the other tail feathers are like right on that edge. So it is a little small. I would have preferred a little bit more room on the outer edge there. But, yeah, so it's like, it was either this or I have to go with a stupendously large canvas compared to the size of this thing, and figure out what the hell I'm going to fill in around it. So, that would have probably been a shit ton of trouble. I mean, I probably could have, like, done flowers or something around it. But that definitely would have added more time. And I don't have a whole lot of time to work with here. I know it's not even December yet, but we have all sorts of last minute things in the air that might or might not happen. And we kind of need to be ready to go short notice to act on those things that are all up in the air at the moment. If things go through. So it's like, well, Alright, so this one I'm just gonna fill in all the way there. Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna get you up there. Going to wipe off our tool here. Let's see, hopefully, okay, so we didn't smudge it too bad yet. Alright. So hopefully this will hurry up and dry. I mean, I could put that fan on, but then it's going to dry out my other paint that I have sitting here that I don't want dried out yet. So that could be a slight issue. And again, you don't have to do this white layer. This is just me doing this. So we'll see how this goes. I'm probably going to end up, like I said, when we're all said and done, I will probably have to do another careful application of black on the background. And then, you know, just to clean up any charcoal bits that might have smeared to where I don't want them to be. And then we'll outline in white. So we might be doing an extra bonus stream on this guy this week. Maybe. I'm a little behind in Planet Zoo now with the husband. Since he got his third guy in. Because he only has his required restaurant, bathroom, and kiwis, and a gondola stop, and that's like one session for him. Oh no, he did put his gondola stop in. He has to figure out if he's putting a building around that platform, though.
Yeah, you've probably got 2 sessions.
So I am just doing this way again. Try to avoid brush strokes in there right now. At least that's the idea. Of course, me scraping the paint off as we go isn't gonna help with that. So how's everybody's Sunday doing? Are you guys doing alright? Everybody survived their retail weekend? The kickoff of the holiday shopping season. We survived by only going to the grocery store, and that was for like 10 minutes. How bad was the grocery store when you were in there? Husband? Russell?
Mm-hmm.
How bad was the grocery store?
Not crowded as hell. I forgot it was Sunday.
Okay, why is that? What is that? Is that just the way the light's hitting it? That might just be the way the light's hitting that. Okay. Yeah, I think that's just the light glare. Whoop. I mean, if it's a little not quite right, if there's some thin spots, I don't think she's gonna notice. I mean, we're still gonna try to not half-ass it, but I'm not even sure if she's gonna be able to see this. But I only have one really big canvas. Well, it's not even really that big. I only have one larger canvas at the moment. And I kind of wanted to use that for something else. So, I mean, while we could have enlarged this guy and put him on the bigger one, really didn't want to. And that would have involved a lot more shenanigans with trying to enlarge it, and probably multiple pieces of tissue paper, not tissue paper, tracing paper, all taped together, trying to get everything transferred over in one go. I mean, a projector would have probably made that a bit easier, but I don't have one right now. So that's okay. We are trying to make do with what we got here. Alright. So on the plus side, because of our white paint layer, I don't believe we're gonna have to do a second layer on the red, so yay. I know it doesn't seem like it, but that will actually speed this up a bit because there's no guarantee that 2 layers would have been enough. Alright. And it kind of looks... I'm dealing with light glare, so... I don't think the light glare is coming through. Oh, Kofi Bot's here. Hi, Kofi Bot. So what did everybody do this weekend? Did you hide at home? Under the blankets watching movies? Did you just sleep? Did you have to brave the great outdoors? We didn't get any snow. It snowed in Oklahoma, in some parts of Oklahoma. Oh, that's still a little wet there. I don't want to get too far into that. I don't want this to be pink. The inside's going to be pink. So I'm not going to do like traditional mandala dot art, but something similar. Come on, white paint. You can do it. You can. I know that the red looks pretty shiny right there. It's just because it's wet. This is just acrylic craft paint, and it's cheap acrylic craft paint at that. Because that was what was in the budget. And as that dries, it will not look wet and shiny. It will be dull and matte. All right. I'm not trying to scrape in that section because I don't know how liquidy or how set up rather that white paint is under there. And I don't want it to suddenly mix with the red. It's been a while since we've done a painting stream. Feels strange, I gotta say. Like an acrylic painting stream. So we did do a couple gouache ones. And I do want to get back to that, although I'm probably going to have to revive my current gouache palette again. Because as dry as it is around here, that has probably dried out yet again. So, I mean, that jelly gouache is nice if you can keep it from drying out. Alright. So we're making progress here. I know it doesn't seem like it, but we are. So this is just a dotty tool set I had gotten off of Amazon. It was on sale when I had grabbed it. It was the lowest price I had seen it at. A little while back. Just really haven't had the chance to bust it out and play with it yet. So I guess doing this way has two purposes, I suppose. Man, it got cold after that rain came through last night. I was kind of hoping for a couple of snow flurries, but it actually got a little bit warmer right before it started to rain. When I ran the dog out, I was like, it is not as cold out as it was yesterday. And then, like, within a half an hour of the rain starting, the temperature did drop a bit, but still not as cold as it was the night before. That looks pretty good there. Let me wipe off my dotty tool. Just on a paper towel. I mean, I also have an old stringy washcloth that I don't know what the hell happened to it, but it looks like it went through a war. So I'm using that for a painting towel too. Alright, I'm just going to hit that up with a little bit of hand-powered fan action, I guess. You can imagine the heat gun sound effects if you really want.
Yes, we are colossal dorks.
Well, you know, sometimes you just gotta make do. So, that's what we're doing. We are making do. I could move on to another section, but I'm afraid I'll put my hand in it, so... Alright. If I can just get the inner edges dry enough where I can get this next layer of white in there, that'll be helpful. Okay. Alright, which end? I think I was using this end. Alright. Get back into my white paint that is thankfully still wet. Now, I wasn't sure at first how I was gonna color this, because I was like, oh, do we just go with like a funky color palette, or do we go with traditional Rooster colors? And Russell's like, for your mom, probably traditional. And I'm like, alright. So I can't say it's gonna be like specifically where they should go, but we can use those, at least that color palette in here. That's another reason why I was a little bit late. I was trying to find a traditional looking, well, we technically weren't late. That's why it wasn't early. I was trying to find a traditional looking Rooster color palette, and realized, wait, I have a photo of the one I had painted previously, and that should be good enough. So because we're using this tool to kind of lay the paint in there with it, it's going to be a little bit thicker than it might necessarily be with a brush. So that's why it's going to take a little bit to dry. Alright. Now, I haven't decided if I'm going to mix the next color of paint. I probably will. But I don't know, because if I want to use that paint, well, I shouldn't need that color again, I guess. This is really the only section that's gonna have like pink in it. Haha, that was still wet. That edge of the red was still wet because the white started to turn pink. Ever so slightly. I might have to put that fan on. Don't want to, but if I have to. So, what is everybody doing today? You gaming, you arting, you Christmas decorating, or holiday decorating, whichever holiday that you are observing, or are you making your own holiday? Alright. It's very bright. I know I'm kind of down on the bottom edge of the screen here, but I kind of need to see what I'm doing. And that is pretty much the easiest way for me to do that. Alright. Kind of funny, this edge is more dry than the other spots. Alright, so get that. Stop it. Stop scraping it, put the paint down. Okay. I'm gonna wipe this off just for a second. We're not quite done there. Okay. So while that is drying, we're not done up there. We'll be back. We'll be back to working on that section in just a minute, chicken, rooster, whatever. I want to come down here so we can get all of this color sorted here. I'm still not sure if we're going to do a background on this. We might. I have some flower stencils that we could do something with, so we might do a little something back on in there. Alright. So, like, this whole section doesn't have to be super perfect with the white, but I would like to get it lined out here and in place for where the red's gonna go. Alright, so I'm gonna make the background and the lines around it. Probably our darker red here. Again, if you've got more opaque paint, you can probably skip this step. Of laying the white down. I could have also just traditionally transferred this and then just painted around the background black when I was done. Also an option, but I wanted to do it this way. So we're gonna give that a second to dry. Alright, so bring back your imaginary heat gun tool noises. And we'll start to fan this guy. So cue noises now. That side's more flappy. There we go. So that's not quite dry enough for me to do anything with up there. And I mean, while we're waiting for that to dry, I guess I could be filling in some of the tail feathers, but I can't fill in too many because we're not there yet. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to get too carried away. Alright, it's starting to dry in places. I don't know if putting the fan on is really going to do much. Oh, you know what? We have the space heater. Duh. Just make sure I've got everything away from the space heater. Oh yes, the melted plastic smell. I just have it on low. So, what's your favorite art medium? You guys like to paint? Is it fabric art? Fiber art? Mosaic tiles? Beading? Jewelry? What floats your boat? I've been seeing so many people do such awesome things with embroidery on my Instagram feed lately. I'm just like, wow. I'd love to be able to do that. Because it just looks so cool. But I don't know all the stitches. I would definitely have to invest some time learning all of that. Okay. If you guys don't mind, I'm just gonna leave the space heater on for a little bit. If that's okay with you. If it's too obnoxiously loud, let me know, because it is right next to my microphone. Well, maybe I should turn it off, though. It is kind of chilly in here. Is that real loud in the mic?
I highly doubt it, but let me check.
Oh, I thought you had it on.
Oh, hi.
But,
It's noticeable, but not that bad.
alright, well. I just didn't want to have to keep turning it off and on, but I'll pop that off for right now. I guess it's no worse than what a heat gun would be. A heat gun would probably be louder. Alright. But that did help speed things up a little bit. Yeah, we'll definitely have to do a cleanup coat of black, because I can see on the outer edge where our charcoal has gotten a little smudgy. And has drifted into places that it probably shouldn't be. But that's gonna happen with that particular stuff. I mean, I could have probably sprayed a fixative or something, or maybe done like a quick spritz of a sealer and then worked over top of the sealer, but I wasn't sure how that was gonna work, because I haven't been that adventurous trying that, so I was like, well, maybe let's not experiment with this, because I don't have that many canvases. Got a few, but I also really didn't feel like retransferring this guy. My hand was cramping towards the end. So I was like, yeah, I really don't want to do that again. If I don't have to for the same piece. so I figure we'll just fill in this guy. Alright, so the rest of it's looking okay. It's a little thin in spots up here now that it's drying, but it's not bad. And I mean, honestly, nobody should probably be that all up into the painting, like with their nose up in it, so... Wow, that one section is still being a little stubborn about drying, huh? Come on. Didn't realize we had gotten that quite that thick in there. Alright. So I need to mix a color now. Really? Did it roll right through it? If it did, it didn't make a mess, so yay. One of these days I'll get a brush rest. Alright, and then hopefully it'll keep everything from rolling around on this desk since our floors are not even. Alright. I'm going to put some white down to mix with. But I'm not actually going to put it in that well. I'm going to move it over. So let's get some white. I don't know how much I need, that's the problem. Maybe one more scoop of white. Alright, I'm going to scrape you off as best as I can. Alright, so now we have to make a pink. And I probably should just squeeze the red from the bottle, because this is not anywhere near liquidy enough for what I need. To get on our dotty tool. I mean, I could have used a bigger mixing tray, but I don't have anything with slots in it that's bigger. Everything else that I have that I can use is flat and no ridges, so I have like lids to old Tupperware containers and stuff. That for whatever reason we don't have the container anymore. Most of them broke, that's probably why we don't have it anymore. So that's probably a decent shade of red. Or pink. So I just dropped in 3 droppers of, not 3 full droppers, but 3 drops of water from the eyedropper. And we're liquidy, but we're not super liquidy. Alright, we're gonna see how that does. And I'm going to clean out my brush here because we don't want the paint to dry in that. That would not be a fun time. Especially since this isn't that old of a paintbrush. It's not one of my old icky ones. Okay. So, I need to turn this guy. Oop, don't slide into that, please. Okay. Alright, let's see how this is gonna... I'm worried I didn't mix enough. And that could be a slight problem. Attempting to color match this. But at the same time, I don't really need a whole lot of this. So we'll see. See how this goes. So I'm thinking that we'll fill in this pink. And then maybe I'll mix a little bit more white into whatever is left on this shade. And then we can do some like dot symbols. Sorry. Allergy eyes. Eyes get gunky. Did not break open the new bottle of Benadryl yet. I need to. All right. So get this guy. Put into here. So I mean, this might be a little too pink. Probably should have left it a little more on the red side, but that's okay. Alright, so we'll get this guy filled into here. I know it doesn't seem like it, but at the moment, doing it this way is actually going a little bit faster than I expected it to. And this is actually, my lines are being a little bit easier to control with their straightness. Doing it this way, because I get wobbly handed trying to do lines sometimes, or precision sections where it needs to be somewhat straight. just all kind of goes to hell on me. And I spend twice as long trying to fix it. So this is actually a little bit better. Even if we do have to take the time to wait for the other color to dry. Alright, and needless to say, we will be working on this tomorrow as well. 'Cause we're not going to finish this in an hour. I know that much. Okay. Now, let me wipe off our implement here. Okay. Turn this guy again carefully. I'm going to get back into our white. And I want to carefully try to fill in that section on our little dangly do. I don't know what the official term for it is. I know it has a term, but we're just going to refer to it as a dangly do for now. I know the head thingy's the comb. But I don't know what this bit is referred to as. So I'm going into the white that I had mixed down with a few drops of water, and not the white that I had put down to mix that pink, just so we're on the same page. Okay, now while that is drying, going to come back in, grab a little bit more white, and mix that into our pinky color. I don't want it like super light pink, but I do want it a lighter pink than what we put down. And I think that might be a lighter shade, yeah? Yeah, it's definitely a lighter shade. Oh, I don't have it all the way in camera. I didn't want like a super light pink, but that's probably good. Okay, I need... Actually, I'm gonna go 1, 2. I'm gonna do 2 for right now, because we already put a little bit of water in here already. I know I'm committing the cardinal sin of adding water to acrylic paint. Oh my god! It's fine, guys. I know there's gonna be so many people. They're like, oh, how dare you do that? You can't do that. You should never do this. Calm down. We're using craft paint, number 1. Number 2, we're trying to achieve something specific. Yeah, if you put enough water in acrylic paint, it's gonna become like a wash. And it might not stick that well. Because, I mean, this is water-based paint, so it's gonna get thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner. But you know what? We need it thin for this, so they can fuck off. And mind their business. Oh shit, I forgot. I still need that pink. Fuck. Right, so that pink is gonna be... Shit. It's okay. It's okay. Alright. Forgot I changed where the camera was sitting earlier. So doing the dotty art. If you don't reload whatever you're using to place your dots very often, they will get smaller as you go. And you're technically only supposed to like just touch the surface. You're not supposed to press down. So like if you don't refill, they will get progressively smaller as it runs out of paint. But I think I kind of want them to be pretty much the same size now. I mean, I kind of fucked up that one in there, but that's okay. Not the end of the world. If my pink was completely dry, I would have just gone back in and dampened well, no, not even really dampened. I would have grabbed a Q-tip and just kind of cleaned that up, pulled that out of there. And then redid it. If I had saved any of that shade of pink, I probably would have. But I forgot I still needed that shade of pink before I mixed more white into it. So kind of mad at myself over that. But what can we do? Not a whole lot. Okay. So I know it's probably hard to see the dotty guys on there. Probably. Don't know for sure. Okay. So I'm gonna encourage that to dry. Actually, I'm gonna turn the space heater back on for a second. The fish is trying to figure out what we're doing. Or maybe he's just looking for food. Either's entirely possible. Alright, I'm not expecting the space heater to completely dry this. I'm just trying to encourage it to speed up just a little bit. Speed up. Come on. At least so I can get to this pink color. Which I seem to be able to now. Although the little blast of warmth is nice. It's a little chilly in here. Okay. So unfortunately this shade of pink is going to be a little bit lighter. But that's okay. I did get, I think all of the yarn fluff bags that needed to be topped off. So we are ready to rock and roll when we get back into our needle felting. And actually the husband's gift is going to be needle felted. So it won't be that long before we get into that, and I know I'm gonna get a lot of weird questions about it when I start to do it. Because it's gonna be kind of based off an inside joke, so it's probably not gonna make much sense to other people. How do I want to do this? So maybe I am kind of doing this on the fly here a bit. Yeah, I guess we can do that. I could use a bigger dotting tool too, I suppose. But at the same time, we're kind of in a small spot. So I didn't want to go too small. So I'm trying to follow the outline here. Don't know if that's really gonna work, but it's kind of working. It's not completely straight, but that's okay. That got a little closer than I really wanted it to be, but I think that's okay. Alright, I want to get a little bit of... Oh, that's right, that was the same color. Haha! Like, oh, we'll put some of this in there. No, no you won't. No, you won't. It's the same color. That doesn't work like that, Dee. Come on now. It's kind of making that tacky noise because that pink's a little wet and I am actually touching the surface of the canvas a little bit more than I probably should be. Alright, now while that is drying, come back into our white. And start to paint in our beak. Let's see, I'm not even sure what color I did for the eye there. I think the eye was just black. All right. I'm just gonna fill in this section with white now. I think we're in the camera, kind of, or like just barely. Sorry, I had to turn him. At least for this outer edge stuff. Okay, so there's that. And while the beak is drying, let's start to outline the edge of our head here. So it's not going to be like the same exact colors in the same exact locations as that reference image up in the upper corner. Just kind of using him for the color palette and roughly where I put them on that one. So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Because then I'm going to lose where the pattern should be. So I'm just going to kind of draw in the cutoff point here. Hey, could you check that thing on the stove?
Mm-hmm.
What were you laughing at?
Oh, nothing.
Okay, so just kind of have the outline of that. Just to give that a chance to start thinking about drying. Well, the kicker is part of this eye is actually white, so we're gonna have to think about that. Or is it red? Actually, I think there is a red blobby that should be around this guy. So I was originally just going to do dots on the head, but there's no reason why we can't adjust our pattern now while we're putting it into place. Nothing really wrong with that. Okay, so let me wipe that off of there. And I'm gonna need, was it okay?
Yeah, you're good.
All of the cats have shifted again. And now we have all of the cats in here for some reason. Don't really know why. Oh, but leaning that way is not happy. Okay. Okay. Lower back said, "What are you doing, girl?" What you're not gonna do is lean in that direction. So I had flipped all of my paint upside down. So, oh, that. Well, we made that beak kind of a grayish white, but I kind of want to go a little more colorful. Sorry, while that's drying, I'm looking for the next shade of paint. I mean, there's a chance that pumpkin could work there. Yeah, what the hell, we'll give pumpkin a whirl. I kind of want to brighten this guy up a bit. I don't want to just be like white or gray. We could go with this shade here. Let's give him some pop and pizzazz. Alright, I'm gonna put the dreaded space heater back on for a second. Just to try to encourage that along. What time is it? Time is flying today. Absolutely flying. I mean, I'm pretty happy with where we're at so far. I'm glad we didn't do a bigger one, although a bigger one might have gone faster in the end. Oh, that's just that. I got that paint on there a lot thicker than I thought. What do you think, fish? Fish don't care. Fish is like, is that food? Then I don't care. He's literally turned his back to me now. Okay. Well then, fish should be that way. Alright. See if I can get the crustiness off of the top of this bottle here. Oh, this is gonna pull out way more than I wanted to. I want just like a drop. A drop. This paint's getting old, so it's getting glompy. Come on. That's really all I need of that. Alright. Just gonna wipe that off. I'll probably be using the same paper towel tomorrow. More than likely. Alright, so that is pretty thick. Let's start with 3 drops there. Might be 3 drops too many. We'll see. We will see. That's not too bad. It's not, well, it's running a little bit down the side, but that could be a lot worse. So, It's not as thin as water, so I think we're okay. Just to make sure that we are good and clean on our brush. Alright. Which end? This end. I'm using our super small tool here. To get our color in. Now yellow is pretty, this yellow is pretty transparent. I might have to do a second coat on this one. We'll see how it looks. As we get there with it. Didn't want to waste any paint, but at the same time, I feel like I may have not given myself enough. Or I'm just not finding it. There's some. Figure out where it's puddled. Try to follow our original shape here. So our beak line, I might mix a lighter shade of this. And probably dot that in. So, I mean, it's going to be a little whimsical here. It's not going to be 100% realistic. Doing it this way. So I've never seen a realistic chicken that looks like that. So we're not gunning for a super realistic rooster. Not at all. Okay. Don't want to slide that into the yellow too much. Oh, Momo. What's the matter? Is he okay? That sounded very sad, Momo. Or disgruntled. Okay. So we've got that in place now. So make sure I get all that other color pulled off of there. And I might need to do another layer on the yellow just because it's yellow. And you know, yellow things getting a little extra transparent. But we'll see. We will see how things go. I don't know why the underside of this canvas looks dirty already. It kind of looks like there's a dirt smudge on the back of it, unless it was there the whole time, which I guess is possible. Go, go, space heater. My hands are so sensitive to temperature, it's ridiculous. I'm like, that's really hot, but it's on low. So I'm gonna do something. Oh, that's what I was gonna do. Nothing that affects you guys. Okay. Let's see, how are we doing? We're getting there. Not quite there yet. Not quite there yet. Alright, how we doing? Almost. Almost. Sorry, but it's a lot easier to hold the canvas up to the thing than it is to hold the space heater up to the thing. Just about. Okay. Alright. So we're getting some color pops in here now. Starting to look like a proper cheek one. Rooster. Flappy thing. Ah! Why are you on high? No, go off. What is happening? Okay. Yeah, just want to hit that up with a little bit more of our yellow. It takes a minute to shut off. But the one cat that keeps jumping on my desk keeps turning the damn thing on. Because it's just a press button on the top of it, so she keeps standing on it. And I'm like, stop it. I'm like, ma'am, I do not want that space heater on high. Especially unattended. And you do not count as a space heater attendant. She'd be setting herself on fire. The next time we go anywhere, I'm gonna have to make sure that I unplug that. or make sure she's not out and about. One of those. Okay. So now while that is drying, I'm gonna come back into our white here. And see about getting this color put in. I'm almost starting to get rambunctious. We're gonna have to read the freezer to see if I have something to throw in his dinner. What I'm making tonight, he cannot have. So I think, are we doing game night tonight? Well, I don't know how you feel. Because if you're not up to it, then obviously we're not doing it. So Russell can give us all the Smackdown and Scrabble. And my mom tries to screw me over in Uno. I don't know why she takes such great pleasure in trying to screw me over. Because she's like, she gets vicious. Like, she doesn't care if Russell beats her. She just wants to beat me. And I'm like, okay. Right. Okay. This filled in. Well, I think this is coming along. Slowly, but it is coming along. And I'm fairly happy with how it's starting to shape up. I mean, we still have a ways to go. We're nowhere near done by any stretch of the imagination. So I kind of have to do this for all of the colors, or we're going to have to be doing like 6 coats to get them to their proper color. With the black underneath. Now that original Rooster did have a lot of black on it. So we're gonna have to figure that out. Because it's not gonna quite work for that amount of black on this one. Excuse me. But we'll see. Okay. Now, how did I do this eye? Hold on. That eye looks really hard to figure out. With how I painted it there. So I think we might leave this part of the eye white. And then the other part of the eye is probably going to be black. Alright. So let's pop on the space heater again. And we'll stick this guy back up in there. So the spot around the face was a little more like red and wrinkly than what we're doing. I think we're okay. And this is probably going to take a minute to dry here. I've got a lighter yellow. I'm probably not even going to pour this yellow out onto the tray because I don't need that much of it. But at least the space heater is helping move this along a little bit. A little bit. Oh wow, it got up to 40 today. I wasn't expecting it to get that warm. 40 Fahrenheit. It's still pretty chilly. It's supposed to drop down into the 20s tonight. Not quite there. You can still see the white looks a little wet. Not quite. I was like, well, it's not completely bone dry. We still might be able to work with that, but it's not quite where I want it to be. Okay, that's not shiny anymore, which is what I wanted. Okay. I'm gonna grab the oh, that's gross. Okay, let go. This shade is very glompy. Alright. Really? It's not gonna let go? Okay, it did let go. But we can't see it. Because those shades are... they're not identical. But, they might as well be. Okay. So, I guess I do have to... I guess it seems a little more green. Like maybe like egg yolk yellow? When you've like over boiled your eggs. Not enough white. Alright. I have to make a lot more than I am gonna use of this. Unfortunately. It's that or we go with a gray. And if this doesn't show up, I might have to go gray. Oh, wait, I didn't want to do that just yet. Dang it. Oh, now I have to rinse that one because we put it in the water. That looks pinkish. Just to keep anything from carrying over. Alright. That's pretty smooth. Probably shouldn't be mixing that over the thing because I have a habit of suddenly just letting go of my paintbrushes. It has happened many a time before. Oh, that is so hard to see. Like, I can see it in front of me, but I don't know if that necessarily is coming up on screen because the other color, like all that white there, is washing out everybody else from the camera. Alright, well, let's see if we can at least get this other color in. Wow, everything got loud all of a sudden. That was probably too much paint there. For the amount that I'm going to need at the moment. Okay, I don't want it to be like water. That's way too much water if it's real runny. Depending on the paint that you're using, you might not even have to do this part. But my paint is old and getting thicker. So I kind of need to do a little something something. think that's clean. Keep grabbing the wrong end of this. I guess it doesn't matter that much for what we're attempting to do in this section. This is a little more orange than I wanted, but I didn't see my like rusty brown red at the moment. I'm gonna have to go digging for it. But that's okay, because I'm going to try to find that later tonight. And hopefully I do, and then we can use that to dot up the other side, or not the other side, but the head area here. All right. So, just gonna finish filling this in. And I mean, even if I find like a burgundy color, that might work for this section in here. Now when I go to outline, I'm not gonna outline every single dot. I'm just gonna like outline our shapes as best as I can. The outer edge is at the very least getting an outline. All right. So we're just gonna keep on scraping this color in. Well, not really scraping, but gently laying it in here. And scraping gives the impression that I want there to be like scratch lines in here, and I don't. Alright. We're getting there. Oh wow, no, you can't see those dots at all. They just vanished. Alright, I might use this orange color then. Because now that they're dry, I can barely see them. That's not gonna work at all. Not at all, friends. Alright, so we will bring that up into there. Again, you can use a paintbrush if you want. I just didn't want potential brush strokes in here for this. So I'm just kind of going with what's working for us here. Maybe if we get some brown and some red, do some dotty things going on up in there. Alright. So, trying to find those dots that went down here already. Not going to be easy, but the other ones kind of faded in to the background. So it shouldn't be too much of a thing. So we're just trying to make sure that we are covered here. My head's probably in the way. Sorry if it is. Okay, that looks fairly decent. I still haven't put in the eyeball coat. We will eventually, but before we stop for today, I want to get my pink in here. Really? There we go. Just around the red on our eyeball there. Okay. So that is where we stand at the moment. Let's see if I can bring it up a little bit closer without the light glare being a problem. Okay, so that's where we're at. And we're going to pick this back up tomorrow. Hopefully we can start a little bit sooner tomorrow. And 'cause we still do have quite a ways to go. But we'll get there. We'll get there. But I do have to wrap things up for today. So thank you for hanging out with me this afternoon. Sorry it was a shorter one. Don't forget to follow all the socially things down below. And all that good stuff there. We also have an Amazon wish list now. Should probably add a heat tool to that. But that's where we stand for the moment. I hope your Monday is a good one. We will be back tomorrow afternoon by 2 p.m. Central at the latest, hopefully. Migraine permitting, of course. And we will pick back up with this then. So you guys have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow.